Well, you don't get to go very far. Next time, we're going to be talking about the Westerville City School Coach Advisory Guidebook, and I'm going to welcome you back, Miss Yanni.
Right, thank you. So this Coach Advisory Guidebook is something that the athletic directors have always had in their back pocket. It's something that they've shared with coaches along the way, and it is definitely material that we have collaborated with. We put it into a Google site so that all of the coaches and advisors could have access to it at any time that they needed it. It really serves as an explanation guide, as well as just a great resource for them that they could access at any time. It is part our IT department. Thank you to Tim Stifler. He was able to link it into our bookmarks for any Westerville City School employee to be able to access. So I wanted to just highlight some of the areas that are in our pages in this site. So we've got school information that is in there, required certifications that all of our coaches and advisors need to receive or obtain. We have supervision, security, and safety expectations, as well as communication expectations, how to make purchases, because we do not want to get into trouble there, as well as our advisor's accounting manual. What are the expectations at the end of the season? What's in those handbooks for our students at the middle school and high school level, as well as there's future plans for explanation of power teacher and how that links with extracurricular expectations, as well as their grades and how coaches can check grades for students, as well as our PE waiver process. So right there is the landing page, and you can see that the school information and all of those are linked. And this is some from our resources and expectations page. Who needs a pupil activity permit? And kind of there's infographics for coaches and advisors so that they know exactly what that process looks like. There is a coach's tool chest is one of our training things that we are utilizing now, as well as there's links for Ohio ID so that they know exactly where to go. So all of those directions are there in that resources and expectations page. We are a member of the Ohio High School Athletic Association, and there's a lot of information in that website, and we highlight some of those things. Being a multi-high school district, sometimes where a student is supposed to go even is something that comes up quite a bit. So things like that flow chart are different resources that we have in there, as well as links to our Ohio Capital Conference. When it comes to supervision, security, and safety, we talk through what it looks like before, during, and after practice and events. So we're setting our expectation and setting the stage for our students, and making sure that our coaches understand what those expectations are. There's things like what about different weather conditions that's linked in there as well. So we make sure that we've got all of those pieces there for them to be able to get their hands on. When it comes to communication, we want to make sure that the coaches understand what the athletic department to coach and vice versa communication looks like. For logistics, who to reach out to for transportation, for any general needs for our athletic trainers, as well as final forms, the communication strategy that sometimes we use with our families, as well as making sure that they have access to the emergency medical information for students, what team communication should look like, and making sure that a staff member, the coach, understands what those strategies are for family and student communication. Where to keep our team rosters, what team expectations are, including positive behavior intervention supports and what that looks like, what it means to letter in your different sport, how to update your scores, and as well as college signings, which we hold throughout the year. So that's all included in our communication landing page. Purchasing and fundraisers is something that is very big for our athletic groups, as well as all of our other extracurricular activities. So we wanted to make sure that we included this flow chart from our treasurer's department. It makes things very clear on when you think you may want something, this is the process that you need to follow. So we wanted to make sure that we included that, as sometimes that trips people up if they're definitely not embedded within the system. We want to make sure at the end of the season, our coaches understand that there will be an evaluation and that we do survey. We talked about the surveys that we share with our families and our students a bit earlier. So what do those look like? What are those questions that are on there? And we want to make sure that we're very clear with what we're going to be asking of them. We linked in our handbooks, and our handbooks also have our extracurricular expectations. So if there is a disciplinary infraction, that is outlined in those handbooks. So we want to make sure that we're including that for them too. And again, this is for any staff member to be able to use. It will be for any, of course, it started with athletic directors, but it will go beyond that athletic avenue.
Any questions? I just have one.
Sure.
Just so we know that people know where this is and have read it, are we expecting that people will sign it or sign off that they have seen it, know where it is, read it?
Right, so that's something that we talked about, that it could be embedded within final forms. So that's one thing that we can add. Sometimes when we add something to final forms midstream, it kind of cancels all of the rest of the things that they may have done. So we don't want to necessarily reset right now, but definitely for next year, that would be something that we could look at in the future. But right now, it is that resource for all of our coaches, our advisors, and we're making sure that people know that it's out there. And then also asking the question, hey, what's not in here that you felt needed to be, so that way we can add it.
Great. I think this was said last time, but great job on all of this. Thank you so much for all the work you're doing. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay.